G'day, it's Peter here. Welcome to Ageless Confidence, where life is life, age is age, and we get real about both. Today, I want to share Suzanne's story with you because it perfectly captures something that absolutely drives me crazy in the health and fitness world. Now, Suzanne is 58 years old. She's lost 10 kilos over the last 9 months. And she's done that through consistent walking, including hills, and watching what she eats. Now, she set up a call with me because she wants to lose another 5 kilos. And that sounds pretty reasonable, right? But here's the thing. Her friends are telling her she's plateaued. And that word just wants to make me want to scream, right? And so Suzanne hasn't plateaued. She has succeeded. I'm just going to let that sink in for a minute because she's done so well, right? And we need to celebrate that. And if you've ever felt like you're stuck or you're not making progress in any way, this episode is for you because sometimes the best next step isn't a giant leap forward. It's a smart step up from exactly where you are right now. We're going to start by talking about this idea of plateauing. Suzanne has been consistent with hill walking. She's doing it 3 times a week and she goes to yoga once a week. And she's been doing this for 9 months. That's amazing, right? She's built these routines and habits that work for her in her life. She has proven she can make changes and that she can stick with them. That's not a plateau. That is a really, really solid foundation. But here's what happens when we only focus on the number on the scale. So remember, she made the call because she wants to lose 5 kilos. We miss what our bodies are actually asking us for. During our conversation, Suzanne mentioned her coordination and her balance felt a little bit off. She also mentioned that she had tried reformer Pilates and she found that just too hard for her. She also mentioned that she specifically wants to do outside exercise programs. Now, given her history with mental health challenges, her instinct to be outside feels like her body's wisdom talking to her. There is solid research that shows when we're out in nature, we reduce our cortisol levels, and that improves our mood regulation as well. Now, Suzanne, she's not just wanting to be outdoors. This feels to me like she is actually listening to what her body knows that it actually needs. And she may not even know that this is instinctive. This is her body talking to her. But she knows that that's what she specifically needs. Now, at 58, Suzanne's body has different priorities than what it did at 28, just like you or I. But here's what the research shows us as we age. And you probably already know this and you probably heard it a million times before. Our muscle mass naturally declines, our bone density decreases, and our balance becomes more important when it comes to preventing falls and maintaining independence. Guess what? The scale, it doesn't measure any of those things. Now, let me tell you a little bit more about Suzanne. She works in a warehouse. She's climbed ladders. That's pretty awesome. I think that's awesome. And she's unpacking boxes and she's working 3 days a week. So she's doing all of these things 3 times a week. So she is already building functional strength in the work that she does. But what about her stability and coordination that she mentioned that she's unsure about? And what about maintaining the muscle mass while she's still trying to focus on weight loss? What happens there? This is where I get really passionate about meeting women where they are, not where they think they should be, but where they are right now. Because sometimes, like Suzanne, we say we want to lose 5 kilos, but there's more that we need to think about, like Suzanne. So let's dig into the 3 simple tweaks that I gave Suzanne, and maybe some of these might resonate with you. So instead of suggesting to Suzanne that she completely overhaul everything, or that she join a gym, or that she starts one of our programs, I gave her 3 tiny additions to what she is already successfully doing. So she's already doing hill walks. She's doing that 3 times a week, and that routine is locked in for her. So I asked her if she had a backpack, and she did. And I said, can you add some weights to help build bone density and help maintain that muscle strength without changing your routine? She said, yes, you can. And here's a great thing is once she's probably comfortable with an extra 2 to 3 kilos, she can then add more weight to that. And here's the ironic thing about it is that one of her sons already said, Mum, why don't you add some weights to your walk? I said, he's spot on. That's exactly what I would tell you to do. And so that is what she is doing. The second thing was, I said to her, I want you to think about all of the things that you do around the house that would lend themselves to being able to stand on one leg. For example, cleaning your teeth, stand on one leg. Washing the dishes, stand on one leg. I love the washing dishes thing and the cleaning the teeth because you're actually moving at the same time you're doing it. So it really is that little bit more challenging than just standing there on one leg and focusing on it. So it is really great for stability and coordination. And they're the things that she said that she was noticing about herself. Also, she's not adding extra time into her day to do that because she's already doing these tasks. So you can see where I'm going with all of this, right? The third thing was I want her to prioritize 30 grams of protein in each of her meals. She is already doing a great job of eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But focusing on that protein is going to help her maintain her muscle mass. It's going to help keep her full and satisfied. And this is especially important for her in the physical warehouse work that she was doing. And it's one of the observations from when she told me what she was eating that was missing. And it's so common to hear this story is that we women after the age of 55, we're not actually eating enough protein. So can you see what I mean with all of this? These are not new habits or new routines because she's already got them in place. These are just tiny little tweaks to the routines that she's already mastered. So easy, right, to do something like that. So why do small changes stick? There's something that scares the living daylights out of me. And that is that idea that we need to completely overhaul everything to see progress. Especially for us women who are over the age of 55, who have already proven that we can make some type of sustainable changes. I often hear that women are already walking. I often hear that women are already doing Pilates once a week, or they're doing some form of movement. And what we can discover by chatting or thinking about it firstly is what are the things that I'm noticing that I can see are on the downhill, that are on that slippery slope, and that if I focus on those things, and add them into the routine that I already have, that's going to take me one step closer to those goals that I want to achieve. And let's face it, all of us probably want to live the best life we can, doing the things that we love and enjoy with the people that we love and enjoy, right? So these are just tiny tweaks to existing routines that can stick. So in 3 weeks, if Suzanne was to add the weights to her walk and practice the balance and focus on a protein, she will have built on the success without starting over. That's awesome. Her body will be stronger, it will be more stable, and she will be better fueled. And once she has those small additions and they feel automatic in her life, then and then only does she consider going to that next level. It makes sense, right? Each episode, I like to bring to you a move moment. This is something to help you move your mind, move your body in some way, like right now. And so here's what I want you to do. I want you to stand up. I want you to stand on one leg while you're listening to the wrap up. I want you to notice how it feels. And that's it. Are you noticing your balance is a little bit off? Or does it feel comfortable? Or do you have a twinge somewhere? Now, maybe you can't do it right now. Maybe you need to be like Suzanne, and maybe you need to add it into brushing your teeth or doing the dishes. But I want you to try it. And maybe if that's not the thing that's right for you right now, maybe that's not the move moment. Maybe it's all about what you're eating and you want to eat healthier. Well, think about the next meal. What will you eat? Can you prioritize a little bit more protein in that meal? Even something small is going to count. So think about whether it's balance and coordination, think about whether it's the healthy eating that you want to get nailed down, or think about whether it's the strength that you want to build in your body. So maybe it's adding hills into your walks, or maybe it's adding that little bit of weight into the hill walks that you're already doing, like I suggested to Suzanne. So these small tweaks, these immediate actions, that's how change actually happens. It's not by starting with a clean slate and overhauling everything. So here's what I want you to take away from Suzanne's story. You don't need to start over. You don't need to join a gym. You don't need to completely change your routine. You need to optimize what you are already doing. And this week, I want to challenge you to pick that one small tweak to something that you're already doing consistently, whether that's weights to your walk, whether it's practicing balancing, whether it's prioritizing protein in meals, whether it's something entirely different to that. It's just one thing. And I want you to notice how it feels over the week. I want you to do it each time you do that task. I want you to build on your wins and not focus on these gaps that you have. So thanks for listening to Ageless Confidence. Remember, life is life, age is age, and we are going to get real about both. And I will see you next week. Take care.